So when we started, they really had day-to-day work going on, some projects here and there, buildings that needed to be completed. We also had 4 competitors that were there. We were dealing with 4 different manufacturers. So we would bid on each project, and then we would win maybe the ancillary or maybe the systems or maybe the seating. Over time, through performance, there were less competitors, and we've got more opportunity. And it's basically based on our history of performance throughout the country and their awareness of our name and who we were. Had a partner in Hayworth that really thought we'd be a good fit for the client because they were so complex. And complex doesn't mean difficult. It just means that they have a lot of needs. And with our experience with large Fortune 500, Fortune 100 organizations, it really put us in a position to be successful there and getting consistent service through every project. And the way we solve that is dedicated teams. So we have a team there every day that's grown from 3 people to as many as 8, depending on their activity. So it's really important that we stay nimble and are able to grow and contract as their business requires. I'm not afraid to admit I'm a bit of a process geek, so we spent a lot of time doing swim lanes. We did swim lanes for every scenario that could exist to really understand what the parameters were of engagement through completion of the project. And one of the reasons why I think swim lanes are so important is because you know what success looks like. You really want to document what a process looks like, start to finish. Who are the responsible parties? Who's going to be accountable? So when you document these things, there's no questions. At the end of a project, you can sit down with a client and say, hey, did we hit this? Did you do your part? Did we do ours? And ultimately, did we get a great result for your end users? And then I think through the process of developing what success looks like, you learn a lot about people, and you learn a lot about how they like to interact, if they want to be more whiteboard intensive or they want to write down things on napkins. And we're very nimble, very adaptable. And while we can prescribe anything, we really prefer that we work together and build it together. As much as you do the solutioning, you can't cover every scenario. Right, so there's always surprises. It's not a matter of if, it's when, and how you deal with those. So I think with our acumen and the team that we built, we were really in a position to move off if the process wasn't going exactly how it needed to because there's a construction delay, something to that effect, something that was just out of folks' control. We're able to be nimble and adjust. So this client kept us highly accountable. So there was no hiding if something went awry. It was getting in front of it, dealing with it, making them aware as soon as we could. I mean, we do sometimes get accused of being too communicative and communicating too much, but if that's the worst thing that happens, we're okay with that. For us, it's about understanding what their needs are. For example, this was something I was extremely engaged in. I went out there for 4 months to figure out what their needs were, constantly meeting with them, understanding what their concerns were, while also having a team here in Dallas, Texas that was supporting them until we could build our team. By meeting with them for that time over those months, I'm able to really learn what's important to them and then find them like-minded people in the industry, in the marketplace to service them. So our interview process, I interviewed hundreds of people and boiled it down. My first hire, I think, was about 4 folks to get them started there. Really trying to find people who were really dedicated to customer service. Because at the end of the day, product's beautiful and it's wonderful, but if it's not implemented well, what did we really do? Matthew Hayworth has said to me multiple times, Hayworth makes it and Wade makes it happen. And it's just so critical and it's so simple, but it's so accurate, right? Manufacturers are wonderful at making product, great design, but you really need folks who are really, really intimate with projects, really understand account management to deliver the result for the client. So if you look at a process of starting with a large client that's a Fortune 100 who's sitting in 100 buildings in a market that you're frankly learning, there's a lot of steps, right? So first is alignment. Do we understand what they need from us? Now we have a project. What do? We go back to those swim lanes that we created and say, this is what success looks like. So we need to do this as close as we can to this process, knowing that everything isn't going to go the exact way it's intended to. We have to go to vendors in the marketplace. We need installers. We need certified installers to install our product to our standards. We met with everyone in the market, put them through the rigors, help them understand what success looked like to us, because now they're working for us to deliver wonderful results for the client. I'm a huge fan of SLAs and KPIs. I want my team accountable. It helps them focus, and it also helps us know what success looks like. So with that, we're reviewing those throughout the project. So it's not like we go to the end of the project and go, hey, did we hit the KPI? We're evaluating that every step of the way. What's interesting with this client is they do a survey of us and we do a survey of us. And then we see if they align. I'll say in most cases they do. Interestingly, in a decade of working with them, they have a 1 through 5 scoring process. And we would get 4s and we were disappointed. You know, we wanted to get 5s because we knew we were doing a wonderful job. And they were voting every day by giving us purchase orders, which means we were doing the right thing. So we get frustrated and talk to them and say, hey, you know, how do we get a 5? We don't give 5s. 4s are the new 5. Now, fast forward 6-7 years where we've developed relationships and trust. Now we're getting 5s. Now we're like, how do we get to 6, even though it doesn't exist? We want to do better. We want to do better. So now that we've achieved great results, we really want to make sure we stay there with them. We deal with really smart folks on the client side. They're working with real estate consulting companies who really know our business really well, nearly as well as we do. So when you have that, you know you have to work at a really high level. So ultimately, over the years, we've been able to outlast some of our competition to where we're getting the bulk of the business. We were recently awarded 25,000 sit-to-stands, 25,000 chairs, implementing all the conference rooms associated with that, and the ancillary product as well. So through that, when you get awarded, say, ancillary, well, now we need ancillary specialists. So that's when our team grows and we're growing to have more people with that intellect to be sure we're delivering results. We get constant feedback from the client. We're visiting with them all the time. It's not a daily touch point, it's probably more an hourly touch point. And then from a formal perspective, we're certainly doing that on a quarterly basis. What we've done there in our ability to bring people in and grow a team to support their business. I mean, we literally have a group of people that wake up every day for one sole purpose, and that's to look after them and take care of their business. You know, you talk about price. Price is always important. You need to be competitive, but we have the greatest team in the world, and they prove it every day.